Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Leader Class Constructicon Overload from the Transformers Studio series. You can see this is number 66. And I do apologize, I've had this since I think like October. It's been a while. This fell to the bottom of a pile of stuff and I forgot it even existed. And I found it and I thought, hey, let's take a look at it. So I got this from Amazon a while ago because they had a pre-order for I think back in maybe like July of last year, where this went up at $30 instead of $50 for some reason. So jumped on it, and then it came out in like October, and they shipped it to me for $30. So hey, there you go. Now with the Constructicons, I did not get all of them to form Devastator. I'm not a huge fan of Devastator's design, and I'm also not a huge fan of all of the Constructicons. So I've kind of been picking and choosing the ones that I like, and this guy's okay. I do kind of like his look. I like that he's got the crazy four arms and he's like a big bruiser. But I'll be honest, the main reason I picked this one up is because it was basically half price because of Amazon's mistake or whatever that was, a sale. I'm not even 100% sure. So we'll see how this guy is going into it. I don't have really any kind of expectations, but let's go ahead. Let's get him out of the box and we'll take a closer look. So here is Overload with the little backdrop diorama piece that they give him in the box. It's okay. It's just a nice shot of the pyramids, since that whole ending sequence in Revenge of the Fallen takes place there where they actually transform and form Devastator. So it's okay. Honestly, he's very large and he barely fits in it. Even with this kind of fully deployed, he still kind of just falls out of it because he's so massive with all the extra arms and everything. But it's kind of a nice little piece, and I'm glad that they give these little dioramas in the box. So if you can fit him in there, he looks pretty good. So taking a closer look at Overload out of the packaging, I've actually warmed up to him quite a bit. When I first saw the figure, I wasn't a huge fan of the design, you know, the crazy multi-limbed, more of a monster than a kind of robotic form. But it's definitely grown on me. Color scheme works, very simplistic, kind of this maroon color with black and kind of a darker gray. But I think it ultimately works. Not too much kibble on the back, pretty straightforward. He just has a ton of limbs and crazy arms and things like that, and because of that he's got a ton of articulation. So the head is on a ball joint. You can see nice up and down. The side to side does happen, it's just very tight. But I think that's just, you know, the ball joint over time that'll move around. So nice ball joint for the head there. Now you can tell that this guy becomes kind of the crotch area for Devastator because this is going to be his hips and you know, the thigh swivels right here. So the joints are very tight, which is good, but they're almost a little too tight as far as getting them to move around. But yeah, so you have a joint there, this joint here, you have a joint here, there's a swivel joint here. So that's all of what I assume is going to be kind of Devastator's hips and thighs and things like that. You also have a swivel here for the arms. Then you have kind of two joints right here, so you can move that around a whole bunch. This hand moves around on a hinge. You have this that can move a little bit, not a ton of movement there. You have a swivel here. You have a swivel here. You have a swivel here. You have two joints again right here and here. So the arms have a crazy amount of articulation, and you can really get them in a ton of crazy poses. So pretty much whatever you can think of, I would think you would be able to do it between all the different points of articulation there. As far as the waist goes, I don't think there's anything in the waist itself, but you do have kind of a swivel here for the hips, a hinge for the hips. You have a thigh swivel. These pieces here, they're wheels that rotate around, but I feel like whenever I try to grab the figure, they end up moving. I wish they locked into place a little bit more. It's not a big deal because you can just kind of move them right back where they go, but these do move around a lot. This is kind of a knee pad here. You do have some movement there, though, if you wanted, and I guess technically that's his knee. You've got ankle tilt, so you've got movement there. Heels move. So he's got a lot of articulation, honestly, for kind of looking like a giant brick. He surprisingly has a ton of articulation. And like I said, all of his shoulder joints are very tight because that's what's going to be holding up Devastator. And I mean, let's be honest, that's just a giant mass of plastic. That thing is going to be big and heavy, and it's going to need a lot of support. So this being the hips and thigh swivels of Devastator, they're very tight, and I'm sure they'll be pretty strong. I'm not going to bother transforming him into the crotch area. You know, it's in the directions. You guys can check it out if you're forming Devastator. Since I'm never going to have all the pieces of Devastator, at least I don't think I'm ever going to, I'm not going to bother showing that transformation, I'm never going to use it. So we're just going to take a look at this guy as an individual robot. But let's go ahead, let's check out his transformation into the truck mode. So Overload's transformation is actually not that difficult. It's a lot of just kind of tucking the arms up and then folding everything else closed. So we're going to start over here on the back, flip this piece in, unhook this, and then drop this whole section down, and that's just going to hang out there for a second. So you're going to come up to this first set of arms. Here at this red piece, you're going to spin this 180 degrees, and then you're going to bring this up. You can see that there is a tiny little spot right here, and then this tab right, where is it? Right here is going to come up and just kind of loosely tab into that. And then there is another super tiny tab right here, and this is a little bit harder to see, but there is a little spot right there where my finger is on the inside, right there. And you have to kind of fold this up and get that little tab to sit in there. And it's really a lot easier said than done, mostly just because it's kind of hard to see it, because you can't, this only swivels this way. If this would swivel out, it would be a lot easier to see. But once that's all closed up, you're going to come over here, rotate this up, rotate this down. This is going to sit up here. This one's much easier. You can see there's a big tab or peg right there, and that's going to peg in right there. So you just bring this in, make sure that this is all closed up just like that. And there you go. You pretty much have all the arm completely folded up. So showing that off again over here, spin this around. This is going to fold up and loosely tab in there. Then this is going to come up and tab in to here, which again, it's very hard to see this. I can't even see it to show it to you because there's just so much in the way, and nothing really gets out of the way. I mean, if you don't tab it into this one, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it does help everything stay together a little bit easier if you can actually get this in here. And it's very difficult to do because you can't see anything. Like, you can see the little spot right there, and this tab is supposed to get in there, but it's not cooperating on this side. All right, let me see. There we go. Okay, I think that's finally in now. That one's a bit of a pain. Then we're going to spin this around, flip this in, bring this down, and then line this all up and peg that in, and then make sure that that's all straightened out. And then at this point, you're going to rotate this around like so. And then this is just going to come up, and they're going to peg together. And you can see that there's a connection point right here and right here. And this has already come out. I'm telling you, this thing is such a pain. It will not stay in there where it's supposed to. But yeah, it's basically like that. So that is the entire back section of the truck, as you can see. So now we will start on this half. Honestly, the bottom half is even easier than the top half. So you're just going to fold the headpiece down. You're going to kind of fold this up. This is going to fold down. The heels are going to fold in. Just kind of straighten this out. Bring this in. Fold this down. Fold the heel in. You're going to bring this down about halfway. You're going to fold these in like this. And then they're going to kind of loosely peg together. You can see that this is forming the grill of the truck. So, peg together. Please and thank you. There we go. There we go. So at this point, you're going to bring this down and it'll kind of stop naturally. You can see how it kind of sits flush with this gray piece right here. So make sure that this is all pegged together. At this point, you're going to push this part up and it'll kind of snap into place. And then you're going to bring this down. And you're going to want to make sure, see how this has a track that it can slide in? You want to bring it all the way down, and then this tab is going to tab in right there. So this drops in, snaps into place. And then you have these two tabs down here. Let me zoom in a bit. So you have these two gray tabs there. You want to make sure that they're together because they're going to tab in here. So you have to make sure that this comes down and tabs on top of those, and that really keeps everything in the front here together. And then you're just going to drop these down. You can see that there's a tab right here, and that's going to tab in right there. So you just bring that down, tabs in, bring this down, tabs in, and there you go. You have a very boring flat truck. There's not much to it. You do get this piece, which I haven't shown off yet. Basically, this is, I believe, a head connector piece for Devastator. I don't believe it serves any purpose for this robot at all. They just threw it in, I guess, because this is where they had space for the price allocation. So this is only going to be something that gets used in the Devastator form. I don't believe it has any purpose with this robot. It just comes with him because you'll need it later. You do have 2 tabs right there, and then there's a spot for it to tab on right here. And so it just kind of sits there. Again, I don't think it serves any purpose. It rolls decently. It's just a big flat truck. There's really nothing going on here. There's nothing super exciting to say about it. I mean, you know, it's a construction vehicle. It's fine. It has a little cab up here. It rolls decently. Make sure that these are pushed all the way up. But yeah, it's perfectly fine. So I actually like Overload a lot more than I thought I was going to. The kind of short squat pose with all the ton of arms looking very menacing definitely gives him like a very Bruiser vibe, just like he's ready for trouble, and I kind of like that. So it's a cool design. Like I said, because he becomes the kind of waist and crotch of Devastator, these joints right here, which will eventually become Devastator's hips and thighs, very strong, very tight. Also gives him very nice and strong arms or shoulders to, you know, carry all this weight. So it definitely works. I do feel like I get a little bit of looseness here in the hips, and that's a bit of a shame, but I think it's again just because he's so top heavy. And I like that he has the ankle tilt here, but sometimes it does kind of start to slip and he starts to go a little bit squatter and squatter as all that weight just kind of bears down on him. But ultimately, I think he's pretty cool. If you're planning on getting all the Constructicons to form Devastator, then of course you're going to need this guy because he's a very integral piece. If you're just looking to pick up a Transformer, I think he's fun. I'm glad I didn't pay full price for him, but I think he's a neat design and I think he works. And the transformation back and forth is fun. Just the vehicle mode is very bland. It's just a flatbed truck, which I mean is okay. Obviously, it serves a purpose as far as a construction vehicle is concerned, but as far as a fun and interesting Transformer, it's kind of a lackluster vehicle mode. So, like I said, if you're going to pick him up for Devastator, then of course, go ahead. If you're looking for just a fun Transformer, he's okay, but didn't blow me away. But like I said, definitely enjoy him more than I thought I would, but still, you know, not like upper echelon of Transformers for me. So your mileage is going to vary. I do really wish that there was a joint here, even if they had to put it down here, just some kind of bicep swivel in this arm, because I really feel like I constantly want to bring this arm to face forward, and I can't do that. So that's a bit of a bummer, and you can already see again how the hip is kind of making him do the splits over here. So I think he's fun. He's not perfect, but again, if you're buying Devastator, then you're going to need this guy because he's very important for that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.